What up, guys? Your boy Quake Man, and let's talk about J. Cole's new album KOD that just released today. As you guys know, I don't like to do album reviews just because I don't like to review a full album after it came out, but I do like to talk about certain tracks on the album that stand out to me, and I like to break down some of the lyrics. And of course, J. Cole has a lot of substance in his music with a lot of messages in the lyrics. So there's quite a few tracks on this album that I'm going to talk about. Not all of them, of course, just a few that stand out to me. And as we know, J. Cole himself has said this album has three meanings to it, with the KOD title: Kids on Drugs, King Overdosed, and Kill Our Demons. And each of these meanings have obviously different things to them, but he says, you can choose which one you feel like this album fits more. And with that being said, let's talk about the later half of the album. The first half is pretty decent, but the later half, I'm talking about tracks 7 to 12, are way better than the first half of the album. So I want to explore those tracks. And the first track we're going to start with is Kevin's Heart. And if you read the title, you can clearly tell it has something to do with Kevin Hart, the comedian. When I first read it, I knew exactly where this track was going. And as I expected, it went the exact way I thought it was going to go. And in this track, he's talking about how drugs can lead to someone cheating on their loved one. And as you guys know, I believe late last year or earlier this year, Kevin Hart got caught cheating on his wife because he was drunk and the girl ended up taking a video or picture of him. And, he went on Instagram to explain himself before the girl could blackmail him. So this track is making reference to that. So it's a good use on wordplay, but this track also has something special in it, and it has all three titles from the album. He relates it to Kids on Drugs, he relates it to Kill Our Demons, and he relates it to King Overdose. And how he does this, the first one's easy. Kids on Drugs, he talks about, in the chorus, he says, "Slip me a Zanny at once. I got the earth in a blunt." And from that point of view in the song, he's talking about someone attempting to stay away from the drugs that had once filled their life with. This also relates to the Kill Our Demons title of the album. The demon in this case would be the lust that the man has for another woman, his lust to cheat for another woman. He looks at other women, and usually when you get on drugs, you start to become your true self. How you truly feel about other people comes out, and this can cause someone to cheat. For example, on the pre-chorus, he says, "She my number one, I don't need nothing on the side. Said that I was done for good and don't want no more lies, but my phone be blowing up, temptations on my line. I stare at the screen a while before I press decline, but she plants a seed and it still lingers in my mind. Told myself I'm strong enough to shake it, and I'm trying, but I'm only human. I know loving you's a crime. If I take this cookie now, one day I'll do the time." And that last line is dope. That cookie line is basically him saying, if I actually go down this road of cheating on my girl, I'll eventually have to pay for it, either in the afterlife or with losing my woman that I'm actually married to. Lastly, the King Overdosed part is about J. Cole himself, because in the past he has referenced on various tracks that he cheated himself, like on the song She Knows from Born Sinner. Cole is basically talking about his addiction to cheating in the earlier stages of his life. And in the later bars, he says, "I love her, I don't want to lose her, I'm selfish, I know that I use her, my ego gets stroked and I bruise her, my actions, I know they're confusing, at home I look happy as usual, on the road I'm a Mac, I'm a chooser, I'm an addict, I'm masking that Kevin's heart." And ending it off with Kevin's Heart is obviously going back to reference to what Kevin Hart, the comedian, did to his wife. So that's why I wanted to talk about this track. It touched on all three titles of this album, and it was just very dope how J. Cole executed it. Now let's move on to the track Brackets. And in this song, J. Cole is basically highlighting how he moved up in the tax bracket. Now that he's getting richer and richer, he's in a different tax bracket and is owing a lot of taxes to the IRS. And in this song, especially on the second verse, he calls out the White House, the government in general, and asks them, where is my money going? All these taxes that I'm paying, it's supposed to be helping kids in schools. It's supposed to be helping rebuild roads, but it's not doing any of that. You guys are just spending this money on guns and war and things that none of us in America really want. And in these lines, it's very dope that he says this, because it's a dope idea, and I hope this happens in the future, because this will give more power to the people of America to choose where their own money goes. And in these lines, he said, if I'm giving y'all this hard-earned bread, I want to know. Better yet, let me decide, bitch. It's 2018. Let me pick the things I'm funding from an app on my screen. And I couldn't agree more. If we had an app where we could just decide where our taxes go, that would be 100% better. And I like that he said that, because he continues it saying, better that than letting whack congressmen I've never seen dictate where my money goes straight into the palms of some money-hungry company that make guns that circulate the country and then wind up in my hood making bloody clothes. Stray bullet hit a young boy with a snotty nose. From the concrete, he was probably rose. And when I first heard those bars, it sent chills down my spine, because it reminded me a lot of Tupac. Tupac would spew the same things in his music. He would say in various interviews, you got money for all these wars, but you can't help the poor. And this is exactly what J. Cole is saying. You guys are using my money, my taxes, my hard-earned money to spend it on things that we don't really need. So definitely that's one of my favorite tracks on the album, just off the verse 2 alone. Then the next track, Once an Addict, is insane. On this track, he details his mother's addiction with alcohol. He gets very personal about it as well. He says his mother started suffering with alcoholism when his father left and married another woman and had a child with another woman. Off the rip, he details this in his verse, saying stepdaddy just had a daughter with another woman. Mama ain't recovered yet. Following that, he detailed how he was very young witnessing this and he didn't know how to deal with it, so he would stay out late at night with his friends and not come home until very late, because he would hate seeing his mom, drugged out. In these bars, he said, too young to deal with pain. I'd rather run the streets than see her kill herself. So Ville became my escape from a feeling I hate. Mama cursing me out. Depression's such a villainous state. I used to stay out later on purpose. Subconsciously, I was nervous that if I came home early, then what would surface was her inner demons. Then I'd have to end up seeing my hero on ground zero. Then J. Cole explained how he escaped these problems, or tried to escape it. He said that, he went to college and was hoping that, these problems will go out of his mind and he wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. But unfortunately, that's not how things work. In the lines, it says, fuck it though, a couple more months, I'll be gone, off to college and dorms, fooling myself, thinking problems are gone. Then later on in the verse, to end it off, he says, looking back, I wish I would have did more instead of running. So he regrets going to college to try to escape his mom's problems. Instead, he should have stayed home, gone to college there, and helped deal with his mom's problems. So that's definitely one of my favorite tracks on the album as well, because it touches on a very personal thing, and a lot of people will probably relate to that. And I know a guy on Twitter responded to J. Cole saying thank you for that song, and J. Cole said God bless. The next song I want to talk about briefly is Friends, and it features his alter ego Kill Edward. And the reason why this song is important is because Edward in the song is basically addicted to all sorts of drugs, and J. Cole becomes the person that's explaining to him why these drugs are such a problem. He attempts to break it down. He breaks it down to many factors, such as upbringing, your upbringing in your life, the mental health issues, historical trauma, and various, other causes. He even says that, when you have a bad childhood, a lot of people go to drugs to try to deal with that. He says he wants his own individuals, his own friends, to feel comfortable with themselves again. He knows that if they find a way to get rid of, the drug habit that they have, that they can finally find their true identity again. And then even towards the end of the song, Cole suggests that drugs can be avoided with healthier substitutions, like, working out, meditation. Meditation can provide, means of mindfulness and positivity as an alternative to drug abuse and medication. And I like this track a lot because he doesn't down talk the people that use drugs. He just simply understands them and then tries to provide, a different alternative, a healthier substitute. The next track, Windowpane, is another insane track. It's basically J. Cole struggling and being self-reflective on the things that he's gone through in his life, and sort of feeling bad for the fact that he succeeded and had all the success while his friends are, battling, drug addiction, being poor, and all kinds of other things. And Cole understands how fortunate throughout the track he is to be, a successful artist and to have the life that he lives, regardless if everyone around him isn't happy. You can't make every single person in your life happy. I wish life went that way. Even Cole in the song wishes life went that way, but that's not the case. Overall, I like the ending of this track the most with the girl and what she's talking about. J. Cole asks the girl, "Why do you think bad things happen?" And the young girl has a crazy answer, saying that she believes God is teaching humanity a lesson in preparation for a rejuvenation of the world as it is. And once society has a sufficient comprehension of evil, the girl claims that the world will restart itself due to God's power, and that this new reality will be more peaceful, calm, pure, and utopian. That just blew my mind when I heard her say that from such a young girl. Now let's talk about the last track on the album, 1985, signifying when J. Cole was born. And in this track, he's basically given advice to a lot of these newer generation rappers. A lot of them are just here to turn up, blow a bunch of money on foreign cars, blow a bunch of money on diamonds, and not really invest their money. And on this track, he's basically saying, hey, I've been in this game for 10 years now. I know how this goes. Let me guide you to the things that you should be doing. He says, everybody say that the music they make is dumb. I remember when I was 18, money, pussy, parties, I was on the same thing. You got to give a boy a chance to grow some. And I love these lines, and I love that he starts it out like this, because he's basically saying we've all been there when we're young, immature, and pretty stupid. We don't know what we want in life. We don't know what we want out of life. And we've all experienced this when we were young. We did stupid things, said stupid things, and spent our money on stupid things. He says, I respect the struggle, but you all frontin' these days. Man, they're barely old enough to drive. To tell them what they should do. Who the fuck am I? And he's saying a lot of these artists are very young that have blown up, and it's all thanks to the internet. Before the internet, a lot of these artists wouldn't have blown up at the time that they've blown up. 6ix9ine is like 17, 18. Lil Pump is like 16, 17. XXXTentacion is around that age as well. A lot of these guys are extremely young and have gotten fame and major success. Following that, J. Cole basically turns into the father figure. He says, come here, little man, let me talk with you. See if I can paint for you the large picture. Congrats, you made it out your mama's house. I hope you make enough to buy your mama house. I see your watch icy and your whip foreign. I got some good advice, never quit torn, because that's the way we eat out here in this rap game. And those lines are self-explanatory. Then J. Cole says, I must say by your songs I'm unimpressed, hey, but I love to see a black man get paid, and plus you're having fun and I respect that, but have you ever thought about your impact? These white kids love that you don't give a fuck, because that's exactly what's expected when you're skin black. They want to see you dab, they want to see you pop a pill, they want to see you tatted from your face to your heels, and somewhere deep down, fuck it, I gotta keep it real, they want to be black and think your song is how it feels. And this was an interesting observation from J. Cole, because a lot of black artists and even some white artists, including some white artists like Lil Xan, have tattoos all over their body. They're not thinking about the future of their careers. What if they don't, pop off with music anymore? How are you going to get a job with a bunch of tattoos on your face? It's almost impossible. And to add on to that, all the drug use, the lean, the popping pills, the partying 24/7, you could potentially die at an early age, just like Lil Peep did. Following that, he gives more game to the new younger generation artists. He says, you could have bought a crib with all that bread you done blew. I know you think this type of revenue is never ending, but I want to take a minute just to tell you that ain't true. One day them kids that's listening gonna grow up and get too old for that shit that made you blow up. Now your show is looking light because they don't show up, which unfortunately means the money slows up. Now you scrambling and hoping to get hot again, but you forgot you only popped because you was riding trends. And Cole in these verses is just elaborating on the fact that you shouldn't ride trends in anything that you do, because those things never last. They just become hot for the moment, and that applies to literally anything in life that you're doing. He follows that by saying, I'm just telling you what's probably going to happen when you rapping about the type of shit you rapping about. It's a faster route to the bottom. I wish you good luck. I'm hoping for your sake that you ain't as dumb as you look. So usually whenever something gets hot really quick, it declines really quick. And plus, a lot of these rappers have some weird looks to them, rainbow hair. They're wearing dresses, tattoos on their face with random things. And a lot of them, when they get interviewed, they don't even know how to talk properly. Like I said earlier, I love J. Cole's approach to this song because a lot of people were expecting him to go in on these rappers, these mumble rappers who do all these drugs, but instead he acted like a father figure or someone who's been in the game for a long time to educate these artists instead of down talking them. But yeah, those are the tracks that I really wanted to talk about because those are the tracks that stand out to me the most throughout this album. With that being said, leave a comment below. I want to know what you guys think about this album. What were your favorite tracks? And what tracks did I not speak on that you want to elaborate on? Leave a comment below. And if you want to support this channel further, you can do so at patreon.com/diverse mentality. A link is in the description below. For just $1 a month or more, you can support this channel further. Like, comment, share, and definitely subscribe. I do videos like this daily on hip-hop news and much more. So definitely subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at QuakeGW. Like us on Facebook, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.